that you're a high plat, low diamond tracer, you're also intending to play Face It next season as well. Most players that I actually coach are they're just wanting to play rank, to be honest, and just climb to a higher rank. I'm not think about worry about team play too much, but it is good that you are thinking about that or starting to think about that, because the more time you spend playing in team play, like, it's kind of not, I think a symbiotic's probably the best word I can think of right now, but it kind of feeds into each other. Like, you'll get better at the game by playing and Face It. So we'll see. I assume you're DJ Y2 here, right?
Yes, DJ Y2.
Yeah, cool. The way I normally do tracer vods is I split it. Let me just use this pool over here. Over here. I split it into like micro and macro between what I'm looking for when you're playing tracer. So the micro on this character is everything that's mechanical with your guns, with your blinks, and with your movement. So I'm looking for, again, good trigger discipline, which I'm sure is maybe something that you've heard about beforehand. Basically, yeah, you probably heard about it, yeah. General tracking, of course, is generally, again, you'll get better with that over time, or if you put more time into practicing that, you'll get better with it. Blink management is really, I'll be more specific, I'll say like terrain / cover usage is really, really, really important on Tracer, because this links to your uptime, and which basically, again, just means how long you can stay in the fight for. I've seen Tracer players that will like have an insane mechanics, but will stay in the fight for about 5 seconds. And I've seen the other way around too, where maybe some Tracers will stay in the fight for a long time, but they won't actually end up doing much. It's terrain cover usage is something that you'll need to be constantly scanning for while you're fighting, and also just something generally that you'll be looking for whenever but before you actually set up your flank and in general, before your engagement, you'll be looking around you, seeing what places of cover you can actually play, and generally the more time you spend thinking about where you want to move to or you want to blink to as Tracer, the more instinctual it'll become over time, and you haven't really got to think about it, you'll just naturally move to those positions anyways. So that's probably like a massive thing I'm going to be looking for throughout this entire VOD. Because it's going to be massively beneficial to how long you can stay in a fight for, and how much value you can really get. Another one is, or a big one, is actually your pulse bombs. This one goes overlooked a lot. Some of it is just, again, coming down to your own behalf in terms of practicing pulses and whatnot, but a lot of it is actually like almost planning it out before a fight even begins and staging it or setting it up correctly. So what I mean by that is like twofold. So target priority with your pulses are actually really important. So, for example, if you're playing into a Brig on a backline, for example, if you stick either of them, that's an instant kill. Like, there's pretty much nothing that either of those heroes can actually do to prevent getting stuck or to actually live through a pulse. Comparatively, if you're playing against Kiri Baptiste, then sticking one of those backliners might become a little bit more problematic. So maybe sticking them later into a fight, or sticking them to intentionally force out a cooldown. So maybe your team can follow up off of that. Again, that's going to be more important in team play. Or just sticking a tank when they're low HP. They haven't got a cooldown, right? It's really popular right now, actually, over OWCS. Tons of Tracers, if they're missing pulses, they'll just stick a tank and they'll get a free kill into a Winston. It's really, again, sometimes simpler is better, rather than going for the fancy mechanical play. And the micro to that as well, to actually being able to hit pulses onto those targets, onto like squishier targets that aren't tanks. What I like to say, or like the way I like to describe it, is if you're behind a backline support and they've got no idea that you're behind them, you've got all the time in the universe to line up your crosshair, line up your blink, get a quick blink in, put out the pulse bomb, get that stick that aligns with their movement, then back out immediately. Whereas it's a lot harder to hit his pulse bomb stick if you're dueling someone or when you're panicked. And something that I'm going to say a lot during this VOD, probably, is whenever you're panicked, all your micro on Tracer goes out the window. Like, all of this stuff, the way you aim, the way you move, the way you use your blinks, the way you reload. Reload isn't even something I've mentioned yet. Basically just meaning to reload and cover. That's it, really. Links into the cover usage thing. But all of that is really, really important. So making sure you've got adequate time to be able to actually land your pulse is really important. The last bit of micro, running out of space here, so I'll just clear some of this up. But the last really important bit of micro is wasting blinks. So what I mean by that, the most common way that I see it is I often see even high level tracer players, they'll waste 1 or 2 blinks just to move to get to a target, and that's fine. But what's not fine is wasting 1 or 2 blinks, and then when they actually get to the engagement or when they're actually fighting, they've only got 1 blink or 1.5 blinks, and they can't sustain that engagement for a lot of time. And again, it links to uptime, right? I don't want to see you fighting their Widowmaker when you've got, or starting to fight their Widowmaker when you've got 1 or 1.5 blinks. Like, that's not going to be enough to avoid their damage. So that's really important as well. A lot of micro there, and they haven't even talked about macro yet, so I'll breeze through it quickly. But essentially, this is going to be marking aggressive targets. So in this case, i.e. Widow, in this case is what I'm referring to, basically. If not, then go for backline. And yeah, basically, all I want to see, or what I don't want to see, is their Widowmaker to be on some crazy flank, because you've got the mobility to mark that. There should not really be an excuse to really see that. I always say, whenever players are playing against super immobile comps, you can really use all the space in the world. You can go as far as you want to, because no one's going to chase you. Because you're playing Tracer, you can chase them. So I hope not to see that. And then very simply just go for backline supports. It's not that complicated. Other stuff as well, making sure your timing is good. And then another thing that I'm going to mention throughout this VOD as well is playing aggressive but safe positions. And this is something I'm not going to even bother elaborating on this. It's going to be something that's going to be better just to show visually, because we're going to see it, rather than talk about it. So we'll hop into it. Any questions beforehand? Because I know that you're a lot of yapping. But yeah.
That's good. Thank you.
Cool, no worries. We'll hop into it and see how it goes. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So, like, so far, nothing crazy. I think, generally, I'm less of a fan of you taking this narrow angle here compared to going around right side. Do you might have a guess as to why that might be the case?
If I had to guess, it's because the long sight range is really bad for Tracer, and I had to use blinks to get close.
Yeah, right. So you're doing it quite well, actually. Like, the fact that you're blinking across the space here to try and get a closer distance, and you've got cover to use here, which is quite smart to do, and that's completely reasonable. But more generally, like, your life becomes less stressful and less predictable. Were you able to actually flank through here in the first place? Like, you've got, again, you can blink way over here, try and get your blinks back, get the mega if you need to, and then catch anyone coming right side. And yeah, you've got good cover here to use as well. You're a lot closer to them. And yeah, you can even go with your Moira and your Winston as well, mind you. Going left side isn't, like, it's not a major thing, obviously. But like, if I'm that Widowmaker, if I'm that Kiriko, it's, even though you're playing this safely, I know exactly where you're coming from. Like, it's, yeah, the preventer mind there, right? Like, it's very predictable with what you're gonna do. But at least you are playing it well. You're using cover well here, so far, nothing crazy. Okay. Hopefully you see the blue emanating glow there from the side of the wall. Yeah. Hopefully you don't hit the Venom mine here. Okay. You avoid it, that's fine. Okay, we'll talk about those blinks in a moment. Okay. Okay. Good coverage there. Okay, so getting better there towards the end, so I'll glance over that. I won't go over that bit that much. But what might be the issues here?
Just blink into the open.
Right, so you blink straight out into the open, and if there was a Kiriko still marking this, if the Ana had any sort of shred of awareness and blinked around here, if you're playing in a team and you got pinged on this angle and people were actually pre-firing or looking at you beforehand, this becomes really scary. Now, thankfully, you can kind of take your time, because if I go to your POV, no one's oh god, no one's really looking at you here. Like, you're not really taking any great amount of visual aggro. You can kind of take your time here. But again, if someone's pre-firing or looking at you, it becomes a lot scarier. And that's where you kind of get away with this. So yeah, I wouldn't even shot the Venom mine there. You avoid it entirely. It's kind of meaningless. So there you go. The blink here is okay-ish, but again, it kind of feels panicked because you look at the Ramattra, and now, even though you're using cover against them, now you've got your back turned to, again, an Ana who can shoot you here, or anyone coming up the stairs here, or anyone who's playing up the stairs. So again, the cover usage here is a little bit scuffed. Or you're not thinking as much about, again, taking damage from the Ana or the backline in general. You're thinking about what's in front of you. So cover usage here is not particularly great, and again, I feel like it's panicked out, but because of the open space you were initially in. Here, again, you blink out into open space. Again, I think it's the only thing. To be fair, it's the only blink you can really play, to be honest. You can't really play the cover here because the Ramattra was chasing you. So I'm not going to blame you too much for this one. But again, you can see how stressful this becomes when you haven't got good amounts of cover to use. Or your only cover is this kind of weird-ass doorway. So yeah. There's also another issue, or could be a potential issue here. We'll see your POV here again. And it's less to do with your POV, and it's more to do with what the rest of your team's doing. So here, to me, the timing looks okay, because the Genji's going in right now, and the Winston's doing stuff. The timing, it looks actually pretty reasonable. I guess my only sort of concern is you just go in when your Genji just leaves, which is a bit sad. But I don't think there's anything that's not the Genji's. That's mainly on the Genji being, or his downtime, or his uptime rather, being extremely short, rather than that being anything crazy that you're doing here. Because when you, it's literally why when you enter this flank, nobody's looking at you, which implies your timing's good. So yeah, I've got no issues there, but it is a bit of an unfortunate circumstance considering how quickly your Genji dashed out, which is probably why the Ram chased you. But yeah, barring that, nothing crazy macro-wise. There's some slight coverage stuff here. And yeah, I like how again you kind of made it up here by using the cover on this left side wall. Again, you de-peek the Kiri and the Ana there quite nicely. And then you get a finish on the Ana there, quite nice. This, I could give a compliment in it. Yeah. This is something you're gonna really like. This is a super ranked thing to do, right? So if I'll ask you, why did you do this? Why did you blink straight into the Kiriko?
Kiriko was low, and I don't think she had Suzu, and then I also saw the issues anti, so I was like, this is a prime pick. But I lived, but it was definitely aggressive.
Yeah, right. So I mean, this is in team play. I've seen so many teams lose 5v3s and 5v4s due to basically what I'm gonna call dumb shit like this, basically, where it's like you can get traded out for this really easily. And if I'm say another way I like thinking about this is if you're the perspective, say you're the Kiriko, or say you're the Ramattra, say you're the enemy team here, right? How do you win this fight, right? You don't win it by playing slow. You win it by looking for trades and trying to equalize out the disadvantage as fast as you can. Or you play really slowly and try and get a play for your team to come back. But obviously, right now, that's not something that they can really do. They're not in a retreatable position. So you're putting yourself in a position to where you can be traded, and it's really dumb. There's no need to do this, you know. Had you died here, again, because you were on open space, your uptime's dog shit as well, mind you. But because you're putting yourself at a threat to be traded, like from a Kiriko headshot or some random ass bullshit, who knows? Anything can happen in this game. Like it's a really bad habit that I don't want you to get into, especially when you enter a team, because holy shit, I've seen the amount of times I've seen teams lose 5v4s or 5v3s is insane. Even 5v2s in some cases, but yeah. Again, another. I had to say to some of my players a long time ago as well. There's like, whenever you're doing cleanup, there's like two things you need to keep in mind, right? Is what you're doing unnecessary, and is what you're doing risky. Now, I don't mind doing either of these things. You can do something that's unnecessary as long as it isn't risky. That's fine. I don't mind that. You can also do something that's risky if it's necessary to do it. So maybe you're like in last fight scenario, you have to like, you know, pull some sort of miracle to win a fight. Sure, you have to make a risk. I get that. What I don't want is both. And that sort of blink there, that exemplifies that idea of both. Because you don't need to blink into open space to finish the kill. And again, it was risky because you were in open space to do that. So yeah, if you want to finish the Kiriko, take some time, play the cover here, go right side, shoot the Kiriko, avoid the Ramattra, avoid the Vortex, boom, done. And yeah, I know I'm going on about like this little like again trade out thing. but holy shit, it's gonna bite you in the ass sometimes in team play, and it's gonna bite you in the ass when you climb. And you're gonna get punished. Like if you're against a good Kiriko with aim, you'll die before you're even able to recall. So yeah. Okay, we'll speed it up here. If nothing crazy goes that fight, and then sure, we'll see how happens next fight. Okay, actually, this is way better than I thought for Plat. Yeah, this is a great setup here, right? So I don't need to explain why because you're already here, but hopefully you can time this fairly well, and it's not too early. It's my only concern. But barring that, great starting position. Okay, Winston goes in. Timing is fine. Okay. Yeah. So what's the issue here? Like two small issues.
I guess it's mechanics. I think a little bit. Blinking out in the open is rough.
Right. So
I don't know.
you can actually blink to this piece of cover here and still look at the Moira. And if you get domed by the Kiriko or you feel like you need to get to a treat, you just leave here and you deep beat the corner immediately, right? So it's a small thing with where you're moving to in the character. The second thing is I guess kind of linked onto that, which is the recall usage, because in reality, if you're able, well, even the recall usage shit, it's just blinking out and being prepared for that, really, to have an escape path, and that's kind of the big thing here. Because honestly, you could probably get away swinging this corner wide, or doing this path thing as you are right now, as long as you're prepared to blink away like this. So in other words, there's two options here, right? Either you blink here in the first place, and then you just de-peek it normally, or you do this kind of thing, and you get prepared to leave, blinking to that piece of cover there. So yeah, again, this another way. Again, I like thinking like it's a similar piece of advice I give the Genji players, that they need to be thinking about their retreats a lot more before you even look to go in. Or you need to have like some kind of if you're gonna push someone, you need to do it safely. And in that case, we would have been playing the cover there, which is unfortunate because you get almost domed by the Ashe, and then sucked off by the Moira ult. Thankfully you're fine though. Okay, we'll see. Okay, this is fine. Oh, that is. Oh my! I just saw you do the cardinal sin on Tracer. Oh. Okay, so.
Oh boy.
There's a few things here. I mean, I'll mention one. It's not a mistake, right? It's just something that you might want to think about. When you've used your recall and your wins are jumping out, your team aren't doing anything, right? You've got all the time in the world to set up for your next engagement. So you could set up, like, you could go all the way around here, and you've actually got the time to do it because again, you've got downtime. You've got no recall. Your Winston's out. Like you can do that. You know, you're fine doing that. And again, nobody can chase you because they've got no mobility, and you're playing Tracer. So you can flank around to your heart's content, and no one's gonna come after you. And not a mistake. Again, I think that the angle that you hold is fine. But yeah, and actually, I'll link into that idea then in just a moment. The second or the second thing I wanted to say, and really the first the insane mistake, is the blink melee. And god damn it, I should have mentioned this at the beginning with Micro because it's so common. Tell me, what is the purpose of blink melee?
To try and either A, finish off a kill, or A, like enable you to get like a one clip in that's better than just trying to use mechanics, raw mechanics.
Right, so both of those things entail or even the second part is like the whole one clip idea, right? Like you'll shoot your entire clip, and then if you barely get them, like you barely miss out the kill, then your melee will finish off that kill. So again, the whole point of the blink melee is that it's used as a finisher, right? That implies that but for it to be a finisher, the target needs to be at around 40 to 50 HP, give or take. Is this Cassidy 40 to 50 HP?
Not even close.
No, right? And in this case, it's clear as daylight. But I've even seen Tracer players like Kevstar make this exact same mistake because it's such ingrained micro that every single Tracer player learns. And you watch every single Tracer guide and it says, do blink melee for finisher, or do blink melee because it animation cancel when you recall, or whatever bullshit people say. And it's like, people don't realize how insanely dangerous blink melee is. They truly don't understand that it's the only use as a finisher for a reason. You're stuck in an animation. By doing blink melee, you're blinking very close in front of a target in open space a lot of the time, just to finish a kill, right? So the reason why blink melee is used as a common finisher is that the risk is worth the reward, because the finisher is so important. The reward is worth it, but there is no reward here. It's just 40 damage on the Cassidy. That doesn't kill him. So yeah, even if a target is, let's say you're dueling an Ashe and she got her to 100 HP, right? Don't do it. 70 HP, don't do it. 3 bars of HP, don't do it. Only do it if you're certain that you're gonna get the kill because of it. And it's a massive card. It's just insane. I see every single Trace player I coach, every single Trace player does it at least once in the VOD, and I'm like, bruh. But yeah, you not doing that would have saved your life. Funnily enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, what could you have done instead?
I mean, one, you said rap. Two, I kind of like rapping to the high ground. I even do it later, but the other thing is just kind of bait him to get to me and try and play near Mega, maybe.
Right, so yeah, you can enable you've dodged out the big sort of CD trade there, that the big scary CD flashbang thing. So you can still duel him here, that's fine. You can use your cover smartly, that's okay. If you don't want to duel him because you're scared or whatever, that's fine. You can leave him and go around. But I will say, I think again, because he's got no flashbang, the duel is in your favor, and you've also got, I believe you had recall here, maybe I'm tripping.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
You've got recall in too, yeah, you'll get it back. That's fine as well, so you'll be okay. Yeah, okay. And again, this flank around here is also, what I mentioned at the beginning, is also aggressive but safe. Because again, this is insanely aggressive. Like, you couldn't have a more aggressive angle, yet it's incredibly safe. Because no one can chase you. And if they do, they're wasting their fucking time. But yeah. Okay. We'll see in next fight. And even though, like, that sort of, it's a very small mistake you made there, right? It's a very, don't, like, the ultimate tip there being, do not blink melee unless I can finish the kill. Very simply. But that death could have caused you to lose that fight. Because you're the first death on your team there. And it's those kind of things that can change the outcome of a fight in the long run. Or the outcome of a game in the long run. They've been unfortunate there. Okay. Okay, don't tell me Pro's gonna... Okay, thank you.
I could have sworn I heard the Cassidy, but I was crazy. That's why I thought I was going that way.
If you had the Cassidy, that's even more reason to fuck off. Do you mean you have the Cassidy right side here?
Oh, left side underneath. That's where I thought I heard him.
Oh, underneath.
Like on high ground.
Underneath. Okay.
Yeah, that's where I thought I heard the steps coming
Weird.
from. So.
I mean, even then, if he was an under, I would still fuck off and leave him. To be honest, I mean, a Cassidy right here is doing fuck all to your team. I mean, he's not doing fuck all to. He's got a good angle here, to be fair. So I guess actually you can mark him, but it's open space. I wouldn't really contest him, to be honest. Even more so if you might have had him on high ground here actually. That might be the thing there. But again, you just can't match him if he's on high ground because your character has no verticality. So I wouldn't really concern myself with it. I would just not waste your time and go right side immediately. Okay. And you can kind of see that the dominoes effect you dying early has on your Winston. Because now you die first, and then it's 4v5. Then your Winston dies, and now you're back in. So again, you're kind of desynced essentially because of that death. With the rest of your team, which is a bit sad. But yeah, hopefully at the very least you're probably not gonna get a kill there, but hopefully you don't have to, die here again and then desync again with your Winston. Okay. Leave. And again, it's like you don't need to leave here, right? Like you can flank the right side, I guess the question then becomes why not go around here?
Okay. I think I do, but it took me forever to get there. I was just kind of like thinking about what I should be doing right here in this moment. I don't know, maybe it's later, but I know for a fact I do flank on that flank once this game.
I find that I find that interesting because like I think another idea that should encourage you to kind of do this is that I think you're mostly unscouted if you go. No one's gonna know because this pillar blocks you. It's kind of a higher level idea that I only really, again, teams really only should account for. But if you can flank unscouted and no one knows where the fuck you are, that's incredibly dangerous. For them at least. So yeah, something else you should probably keep in mind. But yeah, I do see all the time that people always think aggression implies danger. I mean, aggression is probably correlated with danger, but it doesn't have to be one and the same. You can play passively but dangerously, but also you can play aggressively but safely at the same time. But yeah, I think more thinking towards that should help you not do that in the future. Okay, we'll see. Yeah, I assume you're just gonna work with your team with your casts, whatever. Nice. Sure, that's reasonable. What is he doing? I don't know why he's doing it against you. Big kill, I suppose. Okay, that's unfortunate. I mean, I say it's unfortunate. You probably heard the sound cue of dynamite coming your way. And you
Yeah, I
probably
thought I heard. Oh, it's there. I can see it too.
yeah, the shot there, the dynamite there, and also the Ash fired like a brief shot here, like maybe I'm not gonna catch it or whatnot. We'll go 0.25 for this, but it was a very brief frame where she shot. Yeah, like there it is, right? Like the little
Oh,
glance right there. Again, it's small, it's tiny, right? And the bush is kind of covering up the dynamite, so I'm not gonna fully blame you for that one. But hopefully the sound cue should kind of tell you that as well. And even that, right? Like again, when I mentioned about the 5v4 thing, like that Ash wants to get a kill on you ASAP, otherwise she will lose. So again, making sure you're again another saying that I have with teams is whenever you want a 5v4 or a 5v3, still push it. Like you want to push that advantage, but push it slowly. Be careful, be gradual, push with caution. It kind of became a meme on one of my teams, where whenever we saw in the kill feed we had a numbers advantage or we were in a 5v4, everyone would kind of say push slowly. I kind of diminished the value of saying it. But yeah, it's something that's hopefully useful to ingrain. Because that's probably going to get a recoil force or prevent you from pushing in. Well, that's scary. Okay, at least you get the mini there at least. But again, it's a bit inconvenient having to use blinks for that. Oh, okay, so you hit the stick here, right? But again, and it gets. I'm not even going to care about the Suzu that much here. But I think in principle, I don't like this stick. Why is the stick a little bit questionable here? Barring this, I mean, so the Suzu adds on top of that, right? But what else?
I don't think my team can follow up here. Like I get Suzu out, but what do you do?
Right, like look at your team. Like your wins is fucking Narnia, you know? Like it's good that you forced out Suzu here, but where's the Genji dashing in to follow up on that? Where's the Winston jumping in to follow up on the lack of Suzu, you know? Where is any of that? So yeah, like that's my main query or concern is the timing of this essentially. And you get again, you look how eager you are. Like you get that that gas kill. And you're like, I want more. I'm thirsty for blood here. And in actuality, take a chill pill, you know, because your team are doing that right now. And that's going to be really important in team play because timing is a really simple but a common issue. Okay. Let's see here. I think considering the Ash was scoped in and she was in open space, I think the pulse stuff was fine. But yeah. Also, yeah, one thing with pulse as well, because again, there's a little bit of micro that I saw in the grand finals of OWCS. If you're playing with a Pharah who's got the concussion perk, you can pulse and then line up the concussion with the pulse bomb, so that even if you miss it, the Pharah concuss will drag the player back into the pulse bomb, which actually caused a kill for Crazy Raccoons in the grand final, I believe, when I saw it. But yeah, a little bit of micro there in case you know you're not sticky with the pulses on one day. But yeah, okay. So what is the issue here?
I'm doing nothing. I'm kind of just demonstrating.
Yeah, right. Is it
demonstrate?
Can you foresee? Can you reasonably and safely foresee yourself engaging on top of the enemy backline from where you are right now?
No.
No, right? If you say right now, say you had 4 blinks and your Winston jumps straight into the backline, how would you? What's the most likely way that you're gonna follow up on that?
Probably if I'm like behind them or somewhere where they're not necessarily looking really
Right.
easily.
Right, so that's the best way for you to follow up on that, right? Your Winston comes down main, and you come around this angle, you pincer 3, 2, 1, kaboom, dead, right? To put it simply. What I don't want happening is you guys come from the same angle, and I have a fear that, I mean, hopefully you don't, right? I mean, you say you go right side here eventually. Fingers crossed. Please.
If it's not this time, it's next time.
Oh, fuck me. Also, mind you as well, there's a saying from another coach called Spilo. He calls this static and versus dynamic positioning. He really uses the term dynamic positioning here. But Dynamite, and this is specific with the Ashe matchup, whenever you're playing into Ashe can damage you, and Junkrat and Pharah as well. Spam heroes can and disrupt the shot as well as another thing to keep in mind of, right? Generally, spam heroes are able to damage you even when you're in cover, right? Disrupt the shot, Pharah damage, Junkrat spam, Ashe Dynamite. So you staying here, it doesn't even necessarily mean that you're safe. If I'm coaching this Ashe player right now, I'm saying toss a dynamite right in this corner to prevent the Tracer from being able to dive you, to get a force out on that recall, right? That's what I'm saying to this Ashe player if I'm coaching them. And your way of outplaying that is to leave, right? For your own sake, not just for your sake to get a better follow-up on the dive, but to be safer against dynamite, to not get forced out. Flank around, and you will be safer. So yeah, a bit unfortunate. Okay, and now you can see like how your Genji's gonna blade right now. He's gonna int in, and he's gonna get like 5 trillion kills, right? Probably. Maybe you guys invest in that boost here as well. But from your POV here, like again, at most you're gonna be getting mediocre value because the setup is pretty awful, to be honest. Like they know where you are. There's no, again, there's no cover here for you to use. The angles down main is down the same angle as your Genji and your Winston. Like, if these guys were smart and they were backing up and they were baiting, is a nice term I like to use. If they were playing distance correctly, this dive does nothing, because it comes in one direction. So really unfortunate. Yeah, I mean... I genuinely, you are cosmetic that fight. Like, if I'm at Genji, I'm typing in text chat right now, I'm saying that my trace is domestic cosmetic. Because I don't know what you did that fight. To be quite frank. But yeah. Hopefully, again, when you've got map control now, you can set up a bit better. Your bro saying hi to us, Genji. Your pros and cons. Please set, okay.
I was thinking 3-carding here just so they don't have a touch, but after that I'd kind of play left side, like...
Okay, sure, right, maybe you want 3 on cart, right? I mean, you are running a really aggressive frontline here. Like, Genji Trace is like, a really unique case where normally when you're playing Tracer, you'll, I mean, sometimes you'll be on cart and the rest of your team will push up. So in, like, Watchpoint Gibraltar, you'll stay cart, the rest of your team push up, because you can always rejoin the fight. But in this sort of scenario here, where, I guess like your Genji could be on Kaya because he can dash in immediately and rejoin the fight. At least yourself can set up here on an angle like this or an angle like this. I mean, here's not great because again they can come over. Probably here's the best place to play around. Maybe here as well. But in other words, like if they do touch, you can put yourself in a position to where their touch is going to be really really difficult, right? And that's kind of the point of you stacking on cart here. Is to make, if they're going to touch this, it's going to be bloody difficult, or it's going to be rough. But I think that idea is more efficient, or it's better executed. For you to be at an angle, for you to be set up rather than stack cart. Because again, your value in the front to back fight is going to be so handicapped. And we'll see. Okay. There's a touch, thankfully. Okay. Okay. Length, that's fine. Cover's good. Okay. So it went to dice here, right? I'm not gonna blame you. I'll see what you move to first before I say anything though. Move right and beg, move right and beg, move right and beg, move right and beg. Okay. Okay. I mean, this is fine. They're not gonna push you, I guess. You can stay here, that's fine as well. Okay. Yeah, so this is my biggest concern. A, why not move deeper and deepen your angle? And B, why drop down right now?
I guess I kind of want to put pressure on them, but you're right. Putting pressure right now doesn't do anything. It's like they just need to heal it up.
Right? And like, I think it... Yeah. I think it might be useful to think about, like, what their Cassidy, what their Ashe actually want to do here, and what you want to do. Because if you're this Cass, you want to pressure out this Tracer early. You want to pressure out this Tracer early for the Ashe, right? Because that means that during the actual bubble cycle, the Tracer's not going to have recall, or the Tracer might be half HP, or the Tracer might not have blinks, or the Tracer, whatever the case, right? You want to scuff up the dive. You want to make it messy if you're the Cass or you're the Ashe, right? You don't want that Tracer to like have the best setup in the world, or have full cooldowns and full HP, right? So you doing this early pressure is jeopardizing your value in the mid-fight, and this is something that I've had to talk to players a lot about recently. Is this early pressure might feel worth it in the moment, but later, when your Winston jumps in and he pops down his bubble, and when you actually want to be doing stuff, that's when you want all your resources. You don't want all your you want to keep your resources right now for that exact moment. I guess you can think of it like the instant versus delayed gratification. Another way you can think about it, where you're looking for instant value now, where in actuality there's better, greater value to be found later into the fight. So hopefully, I mean, I don't even know what's gonna happen here. You could die, you could get your Regal forced, you could get Blinks forced out. I mean, I assume you're gonna get your Regal forced.
I
I
think you'll
assume.
be happy. I think you'll be happy.
Oh my god. Holy
I will say
shit.
if I'm playing against a better hit scan, then I just die. But
Yeah, for sure. Like that's class A suicide what you just did right there. But hey, at least you are playing. I mean, this is an aggressive but safe position. You've almost got your blinks back. You got full HP basically. And you still got a great angle, right? So thankfully, it worked out. But again, by principle or looking at the principle of the situation, you would have died against a better hit scan. Okay, I think blinking that's fine. Well, I don't mind. Again, you can use one blink to get to a fight. As long as you've got 2 blinks or more, I'm okay with that. So this is good. Good cover, good angle. Pretty good so far. Not too bad. DP kit, nice. Nice. Really good micro here so far. Okay. I don't mind that blink either. Coach got forced. Okay. Fine. Blink away's good. So this I don't mind, right? You've got distance, cover, and a mega to play around in case you do take damage here. So this is okay. I'm more curious to see your value when your Winston comes back in. Kiriko's looking for you now. Blink away, good. Blink away, good. Okay, those blinks not so good. I guess like my concern is like why not stay here?
I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm just kind of like not panicking, but like I'm getting ready for something to happen. So I'm just kind of spazoidally pressing blinks to cover, even though I'm already in cover.
Right. So get it. It's interesting. You're getting ready for something to happen, but that look what to me what that looks like is what you're doing in this frame right now, which is AFKing, getting ready for your Winston to jump in or getting ready for your Winston to do whatever the fuck he wants to do. And your Genji as well. And again, you want blinks for that. You want to be safe in the lead up to that. And right now, it looks like you're safe. Cover, distance. The Kiriko's around about in this location here from where she was. Yeah, I mean, this is fine. Just play Ring around the rosy with her. And she's wasting her time, And you can always blink back if she does, play really, really deep. Okay. Yeah, having to use 2 blinks, then not great. If I play back in, well, let's say you were like AFK here. Let's say you were here, and when's Winston go in? Like literally right now. Like now you blink once, you play the little whatever the fuck this is called, the pots. Beam that Kiriko to the head, play the bubble, and then continue to chase the Kiriko. You probably fall CP. And then you can chase the Kiriko. That's fine. That's a free kill, right? So yeah, again, it's kneecapping your value in the mid fight, jeopardizing it. Okay, blink the high gun. That's okay. Cover's good. Okay, so this is the thing. So I mentioned at the very beginning, when you don't play cover, you will panic, and when you panic, your micro will go out the window. So in this case, it wasn't anything mechanical. It was nothing. Your shots were fine. It was still with your recall. You panicked out your recall. And it's unfortunate because you had the blinks to escape the Kiriko wall climbing up here. And in fact, you anticipated it beforehand. So I was like, okay, surely, again, you take a headshot right, fine. You can blink back to here. You can blink away even further if you need to. Kiriko can't really chase you. You can, again, once you get your blinks back, you can play over here and you should be okay. Right, so I guess the recall might be to do with like getting HP back or something akin to that, probably. But again, it's I guess the key thing is anticipating the Kiriko wall coming there and blinking out beforehand, because again, you did it beforehand. So yeah, that might be like matchup dependent. Okay, because again, Kiriko can wall climb. But yeah. Hey, what is she? What the fuck? Okay, dude.
I was surprised I got this kill. I'm gonna be so honest.
Yeah, I mean, the blink is good. Like you blink behind, you get distance from the ash. You play cover from the ash here, so the blink. I thought blink was good. Yeah, I'm shocked. I'm just shocked as you. Oh my day. Oh.
Yeah, I got the ego.
Like you do so well. Like you get a kill and then Like, it's not even the first time that we've seen you in a 5v4 and you just do something that's sloppy, greedy, unnecessary, risky. Like, it's just... Yeah. I mean, and again, I know why you did this. It's just so emphatically greedy, you know? And it literally boils down to, if I get a kill, push slowly. If I get a kill, don't do something that's both unnecessary and risky. That's simple. It literally comes down to that. And no team's gonna accept you. I mean, maybe they might, because they're fucking platinum, right? But no good team or no qualified team's gonna accept you doing shit like this. But yeah. Because that is the most ranked thing I've ever seen in my life. But yeah. And now, like, especially when your wins are looking to go in, like, this bubble's dog shit buff for them. Don't get me wrong. Like, if your Winston actually jumped in properly and bubbled properly, then you can look for hell, even fucking now, you can look for a portal because this Ash is looking at the Winston, not you. So you can literally pick this corner, press Q, plop it on her, and then boom, Bob's your uncle. You get the stick, and you haven't got to fucking sacrifice your life for it. But yeah, been unfortunate though. But yeah, huge anti by your honor there. Okay. Yeah, that honor anti saved the team. The worst kill lessons I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. Lucky.
You got none of it for the last fight though, so you'll cap it. That's just how these games go. Setup is good. And sure, cover's fine. Relax, relax, relax. Sure. Sure. You did. Oh, you did it again, dude. Oh. Did the cast with flashbang?
I think he did, but I don't think I noticed.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. Like if that motherfucker did not waste flashbang, this is the. I just don't. Oh my. Oh. Like it's like so instinctual. Like you fire an entire clip and people will just blink melee because it just looks and it feels cool to cancel it with to cancel the animation with the melee. But again, that achieves nothing. You waste a blink, put yourself in unnecessary danger for no reason. Yeah, that's right. Thankfully the angle's good, so no concerns there. Okay, I maybe should blink out there when the Moira was sucking you off, like blinking back over here. That's fine to do. Obviously, I wouldn't blink here because the cast is playing this sort of position, but yeah, I'll probably blink back there when you're taking damage or visual aggro from the cast and the Moira there.
Should I have played this high ground faster? It's like, because I did that whole blink melee thing to a point for no reason.
Yeah, yeah. Like once, okay. But when you wanted to do this blink melee, what you should have done is go to high ground. Yeah, correct. Right. Yeah, that would be a fine rotation to do. You can play more aggressively. Yeah, that's reasonable. I've got no concerns with that. It's funny because now when you're dueling someone, you've got no blinks. So yeah. Okay. Another important idea, I very briefly mentioned it there. It's visual aggro. I mentioned this in past videos. Most recently, I made a video on like the #1 rank Genji, and it was towards the end. But this idea is how do I phrase it? You need to pay attention to who is looking at you and how much aggression you are taking. So right now, what aggression are you taking?
Cass is looking at me. Moira is looking at me.
Right.
I don't think they have a lot of cooldowns, but that should be it. I mean.
Right. Is Cass scary? Regardless of, I mean, with flashbang he is obviously yes, right. But even without flashbang, is he scary?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, if he's looking at you, right? Yeah, he still is scary. Any hit scan for that matter is scary if they're looking at you because they can burst you down. Asset shots, Sojourn Rail, Torp shots, cast shots, whatever the case may be. Yeah, they're all quite scary. So the idea about visual aggro is that you're paying attention to the eyes of the enemy team. In this case, the enemy hit scan. So, for example, like visual aggro that you can take is Mercy, most basically. Like you don't give a shit if Mercy's looking at you. Who cares? But a cast, that's scary. So I think once the cast is looking at you right now, I'd leave. Even though you're still like okay HP right now, I'd still leave because I don't want you getting domed by this Cassidy. If I remember at the end of this VOD as well, I'll link you a video by Capitology that talks about this idea specific to Genji, but it's still really important on Tracer and any flanker that you play. It's a skill that is not even harnessed by high level players all the time, but it is really, really important, and it can prevent dumb deaths or seemingly unlucky deaths. Because if you go headshot with this Cassidy, it might be tempting to say, oh, that was unlucky, right? Because you are playing cover here, you're playing the high ground, you are playing a good angle, the timing's okay. But yeah, paying attention to who's looking at you can prevent sudden deaths, so to say. So yeah, and could have prevented that V. Like right now, had you play that a little bit better, you de-peek that with still full HP, you wait for your Winston to be doing shit, or wait for them to turn around and look at the Winston, then you can like V-peek this angle, shoot the Moira a little bit with the Reaper, and then continue your pressure. But yeah. Okay. I think blinking out there is reasonable. I don't see, there's no possible way you could have blinked out in any other angle, so I think I'm fine with that. We'll see here. Okay, sure. Sure. Right, this is fun. This is great, right? So this is a prime example of it, where what visual angle are you taking right now?
0, nothing.
0, right? Because Cass isn't looking at you. Now that doesn't mean that you still need to be prepared if he looks at you. Don't get me wrong. Like you still need to be very wary that this is a Cassidy. He can flick at you immediately and shoot you in an instant. You do need to be aware of that. But because he's not looking at you, you're not taking any visual aggro, so we're able to get this clip off quite quickly. And de-peeking that quite nicely, and that's what I meant by you need to be wary of the Cass, you know, being aware that he can look at you at any moment in time and flick his crosshair. In fact, you should have done that before when you were shooting him. He just didn't look at you back here. Like, what about now, if a good Cassidy will flick around right now and dome you. But yeah, it is something that again is really, really important to get your head around. I think after this, you fire this clip and he doesn't look at you, you should know for almost a certain fact that he will come around this corner. Especially considering how close you are to him as well. But yeah. Okay. We'll see how this next fight goes. Okay. Get up. Okay. Okay. Let's wait for it to reset here. Okay, flick around, okay, sure, full straight, sure. Okay. You guys can do stuff. Fine. Someone behind noon. Oh, that's really unfortunate. Yeah, the team are getting staggered out deaths here, so it's half beta stage. Still though, do you need to be staying here the entire time?
No, I do not.
No. Look at what your Winston just did. Right? And again, this is really important, right? How would you rate the mobility of their comp?
Not great, but it could be worse.
Not great, right? Yeah. It's how do I say it? You could take a position, and again, I mentioned this on second point, and no one's gonna come for you. No one's gonna chase you here. And that's really important because that can change, right? What might they be playing to where flanking around here early might pose a risk?
Are you asking like what could they do as those characters, or what could they do as like a hero?
Hero wise.
Not a lot until I get like to the back. I mean, they can't really stop me from doing
right.
Except with like a game.
Could you think of like a potential composition they could maybe play that makes going around here a bit more risky?
If they have a tracer of their own, something with a Genji maybe to cover the flank.
Right. So
more of the dialect Hazard.
Yeah, so Hazard's the great one as well. Wasn't even the one I was mainly thinking of, but yeah, Bull has Sombra, Tracer, Genji, to a lesser extent Echo. Those characters, even a Reaper here, to be honest, don't lie, he should be over here. But regardless, right, any character that's got a good amount of mobility, that can chase you. It becomes really lethal to kind of do this early fight. But yeah, when you're playing against the mobile comps, use the map to your heart's content, and they're not gonna come for you. And if they do, they're wasting their time. See here. Okay. Again, like my instinct is like this is gonna work, but like look at how far you have to traverse to come and reach this Cassidy. You have to move from point A all the way to point B, and you don't get shot at once, right? So and then the reason for that is because your timing is immaculate. your timing's really good here, right? So that everyone's not looking at you, or nobody's looking at you. Sorry, they're looking all at your Winston, because you go in just after your Winston goes in. So your timing is literally immaculate. But barring that, staging isn't, because again, this is entirely open space and it's so far. And you have to use all 3 of your blinks to enter the fight in the first place. Again, your uptime is nothing, right? The Cassivenu's roll.
I think.
Oh my, he was barely. Oh, he was so close to it.
I got lucky, honestly. I didn't even track it.
Yeah. But yeah, you can see. I mean, that's gonna probably open up the rest of the third point there. But yeah, again, in principle, like, you're going off like it's like the meme of have you got any good tracer player? And it's like, no, I've only got hype moments and aura. And that is hype moments and aura. Just blinking across the map 3 times and then hitting a pulse and then recalling out immediately and getting a free kill. Rather than any sort of like strategic setup play. We'll see here though. Okay, this is. I'm surprised, to be honest, because your cover usage has been pretty good throughout. What are the main issues with it? And where can you move to?
Very open.
Very open, right? Where else can you move to?
Either the flanks. I'm thinking probably left is better here because I don't want to use.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I'd probably say so. One blink to the left, good cover. Look around here, good, all chilling, right? I guess the question then becomes, why not play here?
I guess I just kind of saw that Kiriko was low with low cooldowns, and I just kind of greeted and I wanted to get the kill. Yeah. I mean, I'll admit it. My bad.
Yeah. I think one thing I always say to players, and this is really important in teams as well, is you need to rewire your mindset away from killing. Killing is a byproduct of events that go well in a fight. And even if you get 1, 2, 3 people looking at you, and you're not getting any kills, hell, even any damage for that matter of fact, the fact that you're getting 2 or 3 people looking at you is such an extreme value that, again, your team can win the 4v3 on the frontline fight, or the 4v2 on the frontline fight. And I kind of call this the turn and burn playstyle, where one person will zone their backline, and the rest of your entire team will burn their frontline. Trace is pretty good at zoning, I'd say, overall. Not the best at it, but you can play it in such a way to where you can dance around the entire backline for acres, for 10 years. And you can become really, really hard to force out, especially if you're playing against a mobile comp like them. So yeah, that's why uptime is so important. So, and it's something that's kind of the mindset I would have towards dueling a Cassidy, is 9 times out of 10 you're not gonna kill him, but if you can make him look at you, if you can make him look at you and chase you around and waste his time, and you're blinking around him, using cover well, making sure that anticipating when he looks at you and blinking away from that, baiting rolls as well, all that kind of stuff is really, really important to, again, playing that aggressive but safe playstyle and zoning him away from the entire fight. But yeah, this is obviously very sort of, again, harebrained, ooga booga, I see low target, I'm gonna go for the kill. Now you're taking AoE damage from a saying that I have is whenever you stack main, you'll take more damage, do less of it yourself. That's evident here. But yeah. Haven't even got recall. Yeah, oh shit, you haven't even got recall. I just clocked that as well, because you have to waste it for the pulse. Yeah, could have even died there as well. Oh, the cover is not great. I think this kind of stems from panic in that if I were again, you might feel like you need to get a kill right now because you kind of got no value during that, I guess, cycle of cooldowns. So you're looking for the most immediate thing on your plate. But again, you don't want again, this is instant gratification. Like, take your time with this Kiriko, flank her around a little bit more, use cover well, rather than instantly go into her down main, down a very predictable pathway that's very narrow, and get potentially forced out here and die. Why did she stop? Did she? No way, she stopped looking at you. Hold up. Hello? Okay, dude. He just turns around looking at a full HP team for no reason during coalescence. Like, that makes no sense. Did she have to reload here as well? Okay, she did have to reload, to be fair. And she's using toggle of Fuda, not hold. So she's literally shooting a Fuda at you. Like, okay, dude. Yeah. Against a better Kiriko, you will die. Or at least get your reforce, because now you got a reback. But yeah, I mean, This is excessively greedy. And you do it again! Oh my days. Jesus. How much HP was the Kiriko this time? I don't even know. It's so quick before we even see it. How many bars?
I think it's like 100.
I would say 100, yeah. I think Kiriko's POV might be a bit better for this. 170. When do you blink? 93. 93 HP. And you get from 93 to 53. Right? That is clearly not enough damage to finish off a Tracer, or Kiriko rather, at 93 HP. Right? Again, this is the more common case of it. And are you gonna get your re? Are you gonna re this? Don't re this. Okay, you get the kill anyways, right? But again, it's like it's so much risk for nothing, for 40 damage, and you don't get the kill, or it's not a finishing kill. Yeah, it's just not worth it. Unless it's a finish, obviously. But yeah, it's such a massive mistake. That I see so many players make. Oh, you did, for fuck's sake! Oh my days! I knew you were gonna do it. I knew you were gonna do it here again. I knew it. How much HP is this guy? Let's see. Okay, oh my, he's not even. This motherfucker still. He's got 4 bars and a bit. He's still chilling. And he's a Reaper. He's the last person you wanna go into at this kind of close range. Fucking shotguns? Yeah, hell no. Yeah, like. And again, this the crazy thing is that like, if you get headshot here, you could very easily brush this off as unlucky. When in actuality, this is entirely preventable. But yeah, really unfortunate. Oh, that's scary. Right, that extra blink there, that extra blink you used to blink me, this guy could have been used to blink out against the Ramatra and prevent a preventable death, a potentially preventable death there. Like that micro is so important. But yeah, it's gonna, and you're probably gonna die here, right? Bye bye. Oh, no, give equal. Okay. Sure. Okay. Never mind that. Sure. But yeah, I think that it's gonna take time to outwork that micro because it's muscle memory is why you're doing it. So it's gonna take conscious thought to work that out of your system. Okay, that one I don't mind as much because he is actually killable here, and you've got 2 blinks, so you can get the clip here, and then blink back away. I think this one's like relatively okay or more reasonable. Okay, we'll see here though. Okay, so you got Blade here. Okay, cool. Okay. He's going in. I will say, I mean, there's been one time where your timing has been pretty bad, but barring that, your timing's been pretty immaculate. On this third point, like I always say, it's if you want to maximize the lethality on your timing, do it half a second after your tank or your engage tool goes in, and you're doing that exactly right now. Every single person on the enemy team is looking at your Genji. You even did it on first point too. This is really good to see because even high level Tracer players that are in tier 3 don't do this. Oh, dude. I gave a compliment and then it's just immediate, like, you know, like just.
Violet did the exact same thing to me during our coaching session a few months back.
Oh my god.
Nothing's changed.
Yeah. So what are the issues here, and how could you have prevented this from happening?
Blinking in is fine up to here, but I have to find cover. Pulse target is not necessarily the greatest. I kind of like what you were saying earlier with like just pulse the guy who's about to die.
Right.
Just to get.
Yeah.
Also, it's really greedy because I have no more blinks because I had to kind of go in quickly.
So
once I recall, I have nothing
right.
except the blinks on the.
So yeah, you're playing a gambling game basically. Is kind of what you're doing. You're kind of like throwing the dice and being like, you know what, I'm gonna gamble and I'm gonna bet on myself to hit this pulse bomb and pray to Jesus Christ himself that Moro hasn't got fade, and then I also don't get, you know, my reforced early or whatever the case may be. Of course, like again, a little bit more time and a little bit more caution, right? And that's the thing I always say as well. This isn't really. I gotta mention. I mentioned this. I was gonna forget. Whenever you're playing dive heroes, there's always downtime. And downtime is really useful because you're not doing anything. You haven't got to worry about micro. You haven't got to worry about fucking blink melees. You haven't got to worry about recall management, tracer cover usage, whatever the fuck. You're doing nothing, right? This entire last 10 seconds when you were AFK around about here and leading up to the follow-up of this fight during the Blade, you were doing nothing. And that's the time to start thinking about, okay, what's the geometry that I can use on this map to where to give me cover, right? Or what are good flanks that I can use that give me cover, good sightlines, a good retreat path, or when do I want to be going in, right? I think again your timing's pretty solid here, so I wouldn't be thinking about that. But the cover and your pathing and your rotations are 100% what you need to be thinking about. You know, like when you're here, right? Ask yourself, where do I go to when my Winston goes in? Well, not your Winston now, right? But when your Genji goes in, your Genji was literally saying the voice line, "I've got Blade," right? That implies he's gonna Blade in. And your teammate, when you're playing in a team environment, your Genji or your Winston's gonna say, "Guys, I've got Blade," or "Guys, I've got insert ultimates. Let's go in." And when the person says that, you need to be thinking about, okay, they've said that. Here's where I'm gonna go to, or here's where I'm gonna move to instead. And a little bit more thought, because you got the right answer when I asked you. Right? Go left side, play slow, play cover, etc. You know, and don't blink out on the open and try and gamble on a Moira. Like that's obvious, right? But it's getting yourself to think about that stuff beforehand to prevent this from happening in the first place. While doing the moment. So yeah. Okay. And yeah, you contribute about next to nothing that sort of cycle of cooldowns there during the V. But yeah. Okay. It's better though. That blink though, I know you're trying to blink back here, that's fine. But unfortunate there.
Yeah.
And this is better, right? Cass's just given up, sure. Okay.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I was mad when he kind of talked after first night. I was like, this shit.
Again, try not to do that in scrims.
Oh yeah, I definitely don't do that in scrims. Yeah, no shot.
Try not to to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, my teams, my past teams have gone bad reps because of that. But yeah.
Oh jeez.
Yeah, it's not been pleasant. Thankfully, I haven't been associated with that. But yeah. Okay, we'll do a quick summary here towards the end. We'll say, I mean, a lot of it has been like, I guess, almost bite-sized bits of advice that are really important that have either potentially caused kills or caused you to be killed, or can cause you to be killed in principle against better players. So I guess I'll say, but what I want to say here, I normally do 3 bullet points. I do them in terms of importance. Okay, here's what I'll say. I'll say for the first point, okay, no, I never really do this. I'm gonna list out everything that I think is important. And I'm gonna prioritize it in terms of importance. So I'll say blink melees, a big melees, only finisher, a nice little bite-sized bit of advice there, and then draw up or mentally, like, have a mental templates of what cover you'd like to use.
Can I do that for like every single map, where I just kind of go through every single map and just map out, not like make this a default thing for me, but something I could kind of go to.
Right, and it's interesting you mentioned that. Like the point of having a mental template is the fancy psychological word for it is schema. The point of having that is you'll build it up over time with conscious effort and conscious thought, like going into a custom game and thinking it through, or going in a VOD and working on, again, here's what I want to be using, or playing a game and just solely focusing on, here's the cover I want to use and this is how I want to do it. The reason why you do that is that over time it'll just become second thought to you. It'll become like a habit. You never even got to think about it because you would have had so many repetitions using cover on so many different portions of the map. You'll naturally just go into it anyways. And it's the pros are kind of at that level as well. It's why it's, again, like, yeah, I would agree with you in terms of like that can be a useful practice or a default to do. But forming a mental template of like what cover you'd like to use during downtime. And another bit as well is when you're in recall, that is also downtime because you are doing nothing in recall. You're not shooting shit. You're in a gay ass animation doing the gay ass recall thing, right? Like, you are doing nothing. That is a perfect time for you to think about okay, I'm recalling right now. Here's where I'm gonna escape to when I exit my recall. Here's where I'm gonna blink back to. Here's the cover that I'm gonna use. Here's who I'm gonna pulse afterwards. Right? You can think about your next move during your recall. I'll say that as well.
Okay.
Recall downtime, and every dive character has downtime. Genji deflect is another one that I say as well because you're doing fuck all in deflect. Um, so yeah. And then I'll clear this up as well. A third thing, I'll say, oh yeah, the whole unnecessary risks thing. Like at least 3 or 4 fights, you just got way too greedy. And then I'll say, I mean, tracking was pretty good. I'll say like again, and last thing I'll say like is aggressive, uh, but safe flanks. And again, I think that applied most to flanking wide, uh, against immobile comps. Um, yeah, I think like honestly, I don't even think a lot of this thing's prioritizing because I think a lot of this is again like very actionable, bite-sized pieces of information that okay, next time, when I play, when I'm on this map, then I go to here, or when I'm literally in a 5v4 or I get a kill, I'm gonna make sure that if I push it, if I should, I'm gonna do it safely. And that's a really key idea. I guess you can also like put in like visual aggro, or paying attention to visual aggression, um, from burst damage sources or burst damage. Um, I guess you can also include that as well. But I wouldn't again. I wouldn't worry about it. I don't want to put too much food on your plate, so to say, because I know this is a lot. Um, and that's which is why I normally prioritize it. So I'll probably say like, one is a unnecessary risk. Like, this is really really important, and it's super easy to fix as well. This is something that's nice to do. I'll probably say this is like 2. I'll probably say like, this is probably 3, and you can probably ignore the rest for now. I mean, the blink mini stuff again, even high level tracers will do it, which implies that it's not important enough for high level tracer players to avoid doing it. But it's still like again, I think it's still a massive mistake in my opinion because again, it just jeopardizes your uptime. But yeah, barring that, I think those are I'd say the top 3 key things so far for you. The biggest fish to fry. Any questions or concerns or queries?
Uh, Not about the Vaudeville. I think I'm pretty good on that.
Cool.
This is good. I guess I do have one question though. What tool is that on the left hand that you're using for like
Oh
modding?
yeah, I get that a lot. It's called Epic Pen. Just literally search it up on Google. Epic Pen. Click the first link. You don't need the fancy ass premium version. I mean, I think they give like an upsell here somewhere. If I click on like this, yeah, there you go. Try it for free. I've used it before. I don't think it's that useful. But it's just called
Okay.
Epic Pen, and yeah, that's it. um, yeah. I mean, barring that, again, I've recorded the session as well, so